Mr. Tango has spoken very eloquently, and I wish I could be as forgiving. But I can't, because this whole thing fucking sucks.
Kurt Russell is on a wild streak, and Hollywood seems clueless about how to handle him. What exactly is he doing that has put the whole industry on edge? The legendary star of films like Escape from New York and Tombstone is determined to protect Hollywood from what he sees as the damaging effects of woke culture. Russell stands as one of the few remaining mavericks in the entertainment world who won't conform to the pressures of political correctness. Reports from his film set suggest he firmly resists any efforts to insert woke ideology into his projects. He's holding fast to his convictions, even if it means facing backlash from the more intolerant parts of the left.
You know, my personal feeling is that there's a big difference between Fantasyland and reality. Fantasyland is what we do. You're either writing something, writing a song, writing a book, doing a movie, doing a television show. That's Fantasyland. And that's where that stuff belongs. In reality, when we're dealing with things like terrorism and whatnot, we're all going to have different opinions on how to do it and how to deal with it.
Kurt Russell is unapologetic about his criticism of the creeping influence of woke culture, which he believes is undermining the entertainment industry from within. He views the fixation on avoiding offense as a sickness that stifles creativity in filmmaking. Russell argues that the constant fear of stepping on toes and the reluctance to tackle controversial subjects directly is weakening cinema. In his opinion, artists should not feel pressured to censor themselves out of fear of backlash from social media. Recently, he boldly shared these views in an interview. "If you think gun control is going to change the terrorists' point of view, I think you're like out of your mind. I think anybody is. I think it's absolutely insane." As Kurt Russell bravely pushes back against the growing wave of wokeness threatening to engulf the film industry, Hollywood's gatekeepers are quick to cancel anyone who dares to stray from the accepted liberal narrative. Prominent stars like Mel Gibson and Jon Voight have endured fierce backlash and attempts at blacklisting simply for voicing their conservative or Christian beliefs. It's evident that an unwritten rule in show business demands compliance with woke groupthink or the risk of career destruction. However, Kurt Russell refuses to be silenced by Hollywood's self-proclaimed enforcers of ideology. He's standing firm in support of free speech and diverse opinions, regardless of the target it places on his back. He may be among the last defenders of artistic freedom and traditional American values in entertainment, and yet his recent interview reveals just how deeply the influence of wokeness has penetrated Hollywood.
Yeah, I don't understand the concepts of conversation of the gun culture. We've lived with guns since, what, the 7th century or something? I don't know.
We all know that right now guns is a trope. It's not a trope, it's a totem, it's a metaphor.
Beyond his direct verbal critiques of the woke crowd, Kurt Russell employs his sharp wit and keen intellect to methodically dismantle the misguided logic of Hollywood's fixation on political correctness. Although his public image is that of a tough guy, those who know him well recognize that he is a formidable intellectual force, deeply knowledgeable in history, politics, and philosophy. He draws on this background not only to enhance his acting, but also to fuel his role as a fierce critic of wokeness. Russell's characters in films often reflect rugged individualism and a strong moral code, principles that also drive his resistance against the virtue signaling that has pervaded popular culture. Kurt insightfully argues that Hollywood's embrace of woke ideology isn't about seeking truth or justice. It stems from a cowardly fear of provoking controversy on social media. However, as he boldly declares, he refuses to be silenced. What will come of Kurt Russell's daring stand against the tide of wokeness in Hollywood? Discover the intense confrontations he has encountered on set while defending his artistic vision against the so-called PC police, including the major names he's challenged.
I think there's a very strong reason founding fathers had for the Second Amendment, and that is that no government ever hasn't had to fight its own people, and its own people hasn't had to fight its own government.
Kurt Russell isn't merely leveraging his iconic status to oppose woke culture in Hollywood. He's actively leading a resistance against censorship wherever it emerges. In his latest project, he clashed with a producer who tried to dilute some dialogue out of fear of offending liberal sensibilities. Russell stood firm, arguing that the original lines were essential to maintaining the story's integrity. Like the founding fathers he respects, Kurt recognizes that freedom demands ongoing vigilance and the bravery to challenge all forms of tyranny, especially the subtle repression of free speech. This recent conflict is just one example of Kurt championing the ideological fight for the heart of entertainment. By encouraging his peers to voice their opinions without fear, he's promoting the diversity of thought crucial for a vibrant culture. However, Kurt's battle against woke intolerance in Hollywood has not been without its trials. He has faced both private and public pressure from the Hollywood elite, who have sought to force him into conformity with their rigid standards. At a recent awards show, he was confronted by a group of self-proclaimed activists who accused him of insensitivity. Despite this, Russell remained resolute, dismantling their arguments with reason and evidence. Afterwards, he confided to a friend his profound worries about the state of creative freedom. "I feel wounded, you know? I'm a sensitive, creative spirit, and all this negativity and efforts to silence me. It genuinely hurts." Like a true warrior, Kurt Russell rises from the attempts to cancel him with renewed determination to uphold his values. His challenges have fueled a new sense of purpose as a protector of artistic expression. Despite having a target on his back and facing an industry filled with adversaries, Kurt remains victorious in his solo fight against woke culture. We'll explore Kurt's strategic approach and the powerful methods he employs to great effect. To understand how Kurt Russell manages to outsmart the woke factions in Hollywood, it's essential to recognize the character that epitomizes his career and personal ethos, Snake Plissken. This eye-patch-wearing anti-hero from Escape from New York and Escape from LA represents the ultimate lone wolf who follows his own rules. As an outlaw with a personal code of honor, he defies all forms of tyranny. This same spirit guides Kurt in his off-screen battles within the entertainment industry. Much like his character, Kurt navigates the system and delivers impactful critiques with precision. When his films are condemned by woke activists, he counters with compelling evidence of how his work has supported marginalized communities worldwide. He operates like a snake in the grass, ready to strike against freedom's adversaries when they are least prepared. This encapsulates Kurt's rebellious spirit. Sometimes you have to step right into their nest, shake things up, and let them know there's a bigger snake in town. They're just harmless garden snakes. Kurt Russell isn't satisfied with just fighting solo against the tide of woke culture. He recognizes the need to mentor the next generation to ensure the battle continues. That's why he has taken on the role of a mentor for emerging actors and filmmakers who align with his values. Leveraging his vast experience, Kurt is guiding them on how to navigate the challenging landscape of the industry while staying true to their principle. His message to these young talents is both straightforward and impactful. Never back down from your vision, never hold back, and always defend your beliefs regardless of the challenges. At times, you need to step right into their territory, shake things up, and make it clear that the real contender is here, while they're merely garden snakes. For Russell, the right to bear arms is closely tied to the right to free speech, a connection that Kurt strongly emphasizes. If they can strip away your right to bear arms, don't think for a second they won't come for your freedom of speech next. That's always the way it goes. Kurt understands that saving Hollywood from the impact of woke tyranny is a task that transcends any individual effort. To genuinely make a difference, he must motivate others to join the fight. That's why Kurt is leveraging his platform to build a resistance movement among his peers in the arts who share his dedication to free expression. He's assembling a coalition of actors, writers, and filmmakers ready to risk their careers to uphold creative freedom. By setting an example, Russell demonstrates that it's possible to confront the woke mob and achieve success. His message emphasizes empowerment and bravery in the face of daunting challenges. As he rallies his supporters, Kurt delivers inspiring words of encouragement. They might hold the power, but we have something they can't take: the strength of our convictions. United, we remain unbeatable. With an expanding coalition of artists rallying to his cause, Kurt Russell is ready to launch a substantial counteroffensive against the woke dominance in Hollywood. Armed with truth and justice, victory is within their grasp. If they take away your gun rights, do you really think they won't come after your free speech next? You're only deceiving yourself, because that's how it always goes. Kurt Russell's courageous stand against the infiltration of woke culture into Hollywood serves as a powerful rallying cry for those who value freedom over oppression. By steadfastly refusing to be silenced or marginalized, he is exposing the undemocratic essence of cancel culture and motivating others to stand their ground. As more entertainers join Kurt's movement, the momentum is shifting. The woke agenda is now facing a serious challenge, with their dominance no longer going uncontested. With Snake Plissken leading the charge, the fight for Hollywood's essence has only just begun. The message is clear: embrace wokeness and face the consequences.